Besem Ab, Werwald, und Mefeskadus, Adawam like Amen. Besem Ab, Werwald, and Mefeskadus, Adawam like Amen. Besem Ab, Werwald, and Mefeskadus, Adawam like Amen. Good morning, hello, how you doing? Yeah, yesterday I had huge technical problems. My phone just would not upload the videos, and do you know what I mean? It just kept crashing in between my work day. So yeah, it got a bit frantic, but I'm glad that I was able to upload them in the end. But yeah, I hope everyone is good. So today, Deuteronomy 26. Give thanks. It shall be, when you have come into the land which Yahweh your God gives you for an inheritance, possesses it and dwells in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the fruit of the ground, which you shall bring in from your land that Yahweh your God gives you. You shall put it in a basket, and shall go to the place where Yahweh your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. You shall come to the priest who shall be in those days, and tell him, I profess today to Yahweh your God that I have come to the land which Yahweh swore to our fathers to give us. The priest shall take the basket out of your hand and set it down before Yahweh your God's altar. You shall answer and say before Yahweh your God, my father was a Syrian ready to perish. He went down into Egypt and lived there, few in number. There he became a great, mighty, and populous nation. The Egyptians mistreated us, afflicted us, and imposed hard labor on us. Then we cried to Yahweh, the God of our fathers. Yahweh heard our voice and saw our affliction, our toil, and our oppression. Yahweh brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, with great terror, with signs and with wonders. And he brought us up into this place, and had given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, behold, I have brought the first of the ground, with which you, Yahweh, have given me. You shall set it down before Yahweh your God, and worship before Yahweh your God. You shall rejoice in all the good which Yahweh your God has given to you, and to your house, you and the Levite, and the foreigner who is amongst you. When you have finished tithing, all the tithe of your increase in the 3rd year, which is the year of the tithing, then you shall give it to the Levite, to the foreigner, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, that you may eat with your gates and be filled. You shall say before Yahweh your God, I have put away the holy things of my house, and also have given them to the Levite, to the foreigner, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your commandment which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, neither have I forgotten them. I have not eaten of it in my mourning, neither have I removed any of it while I was unclean, nor given of it for the dead. I have listened to Yahweh my God's voice. I have done nothing according to all that you have commanded me. Look down for your holy habitation of heaven, and bless your people Israel, and the ground which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today, Yahweh your God commands you to do these statutes and ordinances. You shall therefore keep and do them with all the heart and with all your soul. You have declared today that Yahweh is your God, and that you would walk in his ways, keep his statutes, his commandments, and his ordinances, and listen to his voice. Yahweh has declared today that you are a people for his own possession, and he has promised you, and that you shall keep all his commandments. He will make you high above all nations that he has made, in praise, in name, and in honor, that you may be the holy people to Yahweh your God, as he has spoken. For these few words I give thanks, blessings, and love. So yeah, that's quite a gentle, quite beautiful chapter, I think, today, in contrast with some of the more kind of recent chapters. And it builds on yesterday. Yesterday was talking about fairness in all things, and in how people are treated. And it ended with the measurement and saying that the weights must be of equal weight. They can't be corrupted, that all measurements must be accurate, and you cannot have one measurement for one and then another measurement that weighs something else, where you're trying to get one-upmanship on other people. And that metaphor of the scales of justice, when you see a court and they've got the scales with the measurements on, etc. It's by no accident they have that as their logo for courts and laws, because actually, ending with that idea of the measurement being accurate is crucial. So that was the end of yesterday, and I didn't mention that in the reasoning yesterday. And then today it goes on about the fairness of the land and the equity of what's been reaped. So it talks about, in the beginning, the first fruits, giving the first fruits of your harvest to God as an offering to Yahweh. And then it goes on to talk about how you should also be using your harvest and those first fruits to give to the poor, to the fatherless, to the widow, etc., and those that are less fortunate than yourselves. So this is very much in mind that we are reliant on God for the harvest, for the rains. If I remember, I spoke of quite a few chapters ago now, that in the promised land, they're relying on Yahweh for the rains to be reaping the harvest, because it hasn't got the same soil protections as Egypt, where they're not as reliant on the seasons. In the promised land, they're much more reliant on Yahweh to provide the weather for the crops to be fruitful. So to offer the first fruits of the harvest to Yahweh is offering the best of the crop to Yahweh as a thanks for Yahweh delivering the people out of Egypt. And it talks about here that reminder that you were in Egypt, you were a foreigner in Egypt, but God helped deliver you, and you have to give God thanks for that. So that's why you're offering the first fruits, but then you're also offering your harvest to the poor and the needy in remembrance that you were in need when you were in harvest, and God provided for you, and provided different foods such as manna, which is a very kind of spiritual food which God created for that journey from Mount Sinai to the promised land. So it's cyclical. So again, this idea of equity and fairness and treating others as you would have them treat you is also treating others as God has treated you. So it's by no accident that, as well as giving the first fruits of the harvest to Yahweh, that you're also to provide for the needy, because it's that cyclical care and love and honor and respect of what's gone in the past. And the first fruits is a very strong symbolism within the Bible, because Jesus himself was called the first fruits by Paul in 1 Corinthians 15, and he said that Jesus is the first fruits of those who had fallen asleep. And what he meant by that is that Jesus is the first fruits. He's the first of the resurrection for those to be ascended into heaven. And after that, others would then follow. See, he opened the gates of heaven because he forgave us our sins, and then that allows us to also enter into heaven. So calling Jesus the first fruits of those who fall asleep, again, he's talking about Jesus as the best of the crop, the first of the harvest, the first of those ascended and resurrected. And it's the resurrection of Iesos Christos, which is the very foundational of the whole, theology, the whole belief system within Christianity and those that follow Christ. Again, speaking as Ethiopian Orthodox, but obviously we know there's many other iterations of that. And, it's the foundation of the whole theology, which is the crucifixion, the ascension, and the resurrection. So there's a lot in here which is drawn upon later in the language, in the analogies of the Gospels, of the disciples, etc., using these languages as the first fruits, and Paul particularly, as I say, in 1 Corinthians 15. So yeah, a very beautiful chapter, I think, and it again strengthens this principle of looking after those that are less fortunate than yourself, the poor, the needy, the foreigner, the widow, the fatherless, and the need for treating others with kindness and love and due respect, because we know we have had that same affordances being done to us. But even, people have a hard life, even if we don't think we've been particularly careful and loved and trusted. Actually, there's going to be, we don't want to perpetuate that. So we know right from wrong, and we want to treat others in the way that we want to be treated. But again, at the same time, we may think that we've never had any love in our lives. But when we sit down and think, actually, but God has been there. God has allowed me the opportunity of a new day to see life in a new way, to be able to live and respond in a new way, and just pray that those new days become positive and fruitful, full of light and love and joy that we may not have had in the past, so that every opportunity for a different future. So I'll end there, but have a blessed day, have a positive day, and may the first fruits, the inspiration of the first fruits, be ever with us, and we offer up the first fruits of our minds and our meditation as we awake today to the Most High in his honor and in his glory. Give thanks.